Hello and welcome to the first part of the animating section. Not really sure how far I'm going to get tonight, but we will find out shortly, won't we? So the first thing I'm going to do is grab everything in the rig and the giant clam mesh here. Go over to the Animate tab, and I'm going to bring up these other windows here, and what I want to do is create an actor. Let me go to the items, make sure I've got all that stuff selected. I might as well select controls, create an actor, create new actor, and I'll just call this giant clam. From selected items, all the defaults and stuff are good. So now that I have an actor, I can create actions for the actor. And basically what that will allow me to do is if I come into my preferences and have the FBX IO set to export actions into separate takes. That's not on by default, by the way, so you'd have to go in there and set that. If I export actions into separate takes, when I import that into Unity, the timeline's already cut up with all the labeled animations and everything, so you don't have to redo that annoying step every time you import a model. So the new actions, I guess for this first action, I'm just going to call this something like closed. And I'm not going to bother transferring any of the data because there isn't any data. And currently it is closed, so that's good. But I don't have keyframes on any of this stuff. So anyway, what I want to do is, let's see, set keyframes on selected channels. I think that should have gotten all of them. Yeah, it looks like it did. Channel, yeah. So everything is, all of those things are now keyframed. But I don't want these to be the default. Primarily the reason is that the tongue tip, or the tongue scale, is too large. So let me go to a wireframe view and just have a look at shrinking this and see, how big do I want this, and then maybe even try not look horizontal, look vertical. Maybe I just want to have it sitting down somewhat naturally, I guess, inside the mouth. And I guess I can see how natural that would be if I go and bring this back to Advanced OpenGL. I'm going to drop all that stuff and just hide the top piece here. So yeah, that's not terribly unnatural in there. And so all that stuff should be set. Let me check what value this is. Alright, scale is at 32. I like to have, I don't like just leaving like random numbers like that, so I'll just make this at something like -30, or even, I don't know, negative 33 should be fine. -32 would be fine as well, as long as there aren't like, numbers beyond the decimal point there. Okay, so what we have now is there's only one frame, so what we should do is go out like 4 frames or something, and just add another keyframe to all this stuff. So it technically counts as an animation, even though there isn't any animation. And a lot of this is going to be probably just blocking out certain keyframe sections, and I probably won't record the finer details of fudging all the different numbers to make it look better. That's something that just, as I play the game and I see how the animations work, I'll go in and tweak stuff. So it's not really, it wouldn't be easy to show that. Alright, so we have closed, and if we go look at the groups, the giant clam actor here under actions, we can see closed. So from closed, I have to decide what I want to do. So I'm going to go mark closed off. And I'm thinking maybe something like idle could get us somewhere. So let's go duplicate closed. I'm going to rename this to idle. And then I need to actually go down here and change my action to idle. Otherwise I'll be overriding the closed action I just did, and I've done that so many times and had to go back and delete and copy and paste, and yeah, it's a pain. Alright, so from here I actually don't have a channel, which that sucks. I didn't want to have to go and do more rigging during this. Because what I would need to do, what I was thinking of doing for the idle, was having this rock or something. Like, you know, maybe rock that way. But I do not have, I don't believe I have this. Well, that one is, actually. That one should be keyframed. Or should be rigged. Let me see. Like twist, no, it's not rigged, but it says it acts like it should be. I'm going to go ahead and save this as 13. Alright, so okay, it is in here, and it's rotation X. What is, oh, that's because, yeah, I've got the tug root. I was talking about the subroot. The subroot's the one I was looking for. And that's the one that I'm not actually sure how much of a benefit being able to rotate that would be. I'm really, I don't think that's going to be of much benefit. But this one, the actual root, I should probably have a root rotation so that I could rotate this on X, Z, or Y. So this shouldn't take too long. Go in here and grab these rotations. Uh-oh, why are you set to a value? Rotation is at like 2. Alright, let me go into setup mode and just check this out. So rig, rotation 0. I think I'm going to delete that and then just see what happens. Yeah, I probably don't want to delete that. I do want to delete it, but I don't want to mess up stuff. Rotation 0. Alright, well, whatever. The rotation now is at an odd, like, 2 degrees, but it shouldn't matter. Rotation, it's just weird. It's weird how stuff like that ends up happening. But the thing is that I should be able to go in here, like that rig locator isn't anything special. I should just be able to go in here and call this rig, and drag and drop this into it. Select this one, and then match the position. And oops. And sorry, I'm being dumb. It's not the rig. It's this locator. The root locator. Which still, I should be able to do the same thing. I should simply be able to go add a locator, drag subroot into that, delete this one. Root is referenced by other items, yes. Locator root position. Then do this. Then do this. And okay, it's just going to screw things up, so I'm not going to bother with it. I just will ignore it, because it looks right, and it's only just me being a perfectionist that's getting in my way. So I'm going to have to ignore that and not be a perfectionist. So position of this bone, add rotation. I'm curious what even just happened. I thought I had... Oh, so I probably just did something like that, something stupid like that. Alright, so let me check this. Root. Rotation has a normal rotation, nothing else unusual. This one doesn't even have rotation. I'm going to add rotation to it, because let's see, I could rotate it from the bottom. So I actually want rotations. I want to be able to rotate both of these, the root and the rig. So the rig, drag in here, rotations, drag in here, the, hang on, let's make sure it's the right one, root, I'm going to drag these in here. So now I have all of, all of these values. And I just need to go create some custom user channels here, just so it makes it easy to add keyframes to everything and just use this panel instead of going in and selecting bones and rotating things all crazy. So this will be rig X, and just hit OK, add user channel, rig Y, user channel, rig Z, add user channel, this will be root, go with X first, root Y, and root Z. And easily enough, I can just go in and select, that's rig X to rig X, rig Y to rig Y, and this shouldn't break anything. Root, let me make this a little bigger. Root X can go over to the rotation X on root, rotation Y, and oop. Well, this is rotation Z, rotation Y. And that should be all I needed to do. Now with this selected, I should be able to go with, like, say, rig Y and rotate that. Nice. Rig Z, root, let's try root X. Cool. So all that's working, and now I just need to go to the Animate tab. We'll go back to my closed. Did something happen? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Go back. Actually, idle. Ah, okay, so the tongue. Yeah, alright, that changed. But that's easy enough to put back. That was where I cleared the value. That's, yeah, 1.91. 1.91, because I thought I set it by mistake and I didn't. So closed and idle are now the same. I'm going to click to key all these channels, which should add the rig and the root. Go over here, key them all, go back to closed, key them all, and key them all. Just making sure they are now all keyed. Yep. Okay. So save this. I have closed done. Now I need to go to idle and decide what I want idle to do. I initially thought I would just kind of have him rock back and forth, but the options I have for rocking him back and forth, well, I guess let's have a look. So root X will make him do this. Root Z, because I might rather him do this. Except I wouldn't want him to rotate from the top there. I'd want to rotate from the ground. So that's where the rig X and Z come in. So rig X, you know, it looks like more like he's rotating on the ground. But I think rig Z might work better. Just have it. Yeah, I think that's a more natural looking animation than that would be. So do something like rig Z, or do I even want to animate the rig node specifically? Let's look at the root Z. That looks a little awkward. I'm just trying to remember at the moment if I animated the rig node on any of my other characters. And I'm not thinking it matters. I'm not thinking it really matters. Yeah, it shouldn't matter. So I'm going to do that. So we're going to start at 0, and then when we go to 4, I'll go with, say, rig Z. It doesn't need to be well, I was going to say it doesn't need to be a lot, but typically exaggerating an animation looks better than, you know, what you would expect. You typically have to exaggerate things a bit for them to read as you intend. So go to 4, so 0, 15, 8, frame 8 here, we're going to put this at 0 again. And then, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should be on 12. And we'll do a negative 15 here. Negative 15. And then 16, we'll put this back at 0. And if I go do settings down here and change the current scene from 0 to 16, I can play this, and you see it rocking, basically. And it kind of has a bit of a glitchiness to it. Let's see if I can. So play real time is on, and the way that this looks in here isn't specifically how it's going to look in Unity, because it's kind of glitching around a little bit. It'll be smoother in Unity, but one of the things I can do is, you see it has these curves, and one of the things I actually like better than the slopes is to go in and set these to be linear. So now if I hit play, see it's smooth now. It doesn't have the like easing in and out, which the curves and the easing in and out and stuff are valid things to set up at some point, depending on the animation you're going for. But I'm going for I don't know, more of a retro kind of jerky look. So that should be okay for now. If I need to scale the animation later, that's really easy to do. So for now, I'm just going to leave this at 0 to 12 and call that the idle animation being done. Obviously, I might, I can always come back and change it and have something else happening. So from here, I'm going to do a punch pose. And basically the way I've been doing this in my game is, instead of having, like, say if I were going to be animating a punch, I wouldn't animate starting with the character here, and then animate the punch going out and then back in. What I would do is I would animate just the pose of the punch out, and I would blend that with the other animations. So like if my character's idling, doing this, and then I blend that with one of these, in Unity, it'll do a smooth blend between the animations, so it'll look like it does an actual punch without having to animate, the whole thing. And it'd actually look weird if I tried to animate from this pose to here to here. So anyway, let's go for the punch. And I think the punch is going to happen. Let's go with, I need to duplicate the closed action here, and then rename this to punch. Select punch. Alright. So obviously a shell has to open. Let's go open the shell, and I don't know how much it needs to open. Let's see, so that's the shell open. Rig on the X, like, I could rotate it forward like that. For now, let's just make the tongue bigger. Let's bring that up to, well, for now, set it to 0. Let's see where the tongue is. And now we'll make the tongue tip here a little bit bigger. We'll just set that up at something like 10. And see what that does. Okay. So 10. Yeah. Basically, once it gets, I wouldn't want to go any farther than 10 with it. Because at that point you really need to scale it non-uniformly and maybe get some of these other pieces in. But what I want to happen is, let's see, this is one Unity unit, but I want it to be obvious that you're getting hit, like punched basically with the tongue. So it might even be good to try a lick twist on this, so it's perfectly clear that you're getting stabbed basically by the tongue. And I don't know, 10 seems to work well. So even if you're seeing it from the side, it'll look like, basically if you're starting from a closed position or something, any position where the tongue is not like twisted and out like that, it will move from being just like here to going and twisting and scaling. So it'll look like it has a nice fluid animation, even though I'm just, I'm on punch, closed. Why is closed doing this? Okay. I don't like this. What the heck happened? Closed. Closed is idling. Alright, I think I somehow messed up my actions. Oh, that one's fine. Well, alright, I'm going to delete punch at the moment. I'm going to go to closed. I'm not sure why this happened. I'm going to go to closed though, and I'm going to remove these keyframes. and then put this back on 4. Set keyframes on channels. Okay. How am I on none action? How am I on no action? That's probably the issue, is that I put these keyframes on at the scene root level, basically, which would mean that they might apply to everything. All right, there's closed. Now we're okay. Now idle is broken. Go to closed. Click these. Click these. Idle. Whatever. I'm just going to delete that. Add an action, because this was pretty simple. Just start over. All right, I'm on idle. I'm going to test something real quick. Set this to 4, and then I'm going to move rig Z, and then I'm going to go to closed. Alright, so that's how it's supposed to happen. I guess somehow I wasn't paying attention. I was probably too busy talking and screwed up and put stuff into the scene action basically when you have different actions, and I'm assuming that putting it in the scene was causing it then to show through everything else. Anyway, -15. Easy enough to go back and do this real quick. Set this to 0. And it may even be because I duplicated it here instead of just doing an add action, which you'll see now if I go to idle, the tongue is sticking out. So what I want to do is go have a look and see with closed, the value here is -33 and then 1.91. Let's go to idle. -33 and 1.91, 1.91, and then do the same thing here. Well, and actually, I'd have to copy and paste that to all of them now. Alright, easy enough. Well, there it's 30, 33, 33, 33. That's fine. 1.91. Maybe you do the end. Yep. 1.91. So somewhere in here it did get, probably like right there, it got set again. Okay. Idle is fine. Save that. Closed, duplicate, rename, punch, closed, no problems. Alright, back to where we were. So, shell top, I had this at like 40. Tongue scale, what did I do that at? Probably something like 10, 10 on this one, and for the lick twist, 10 on there. Now the question is, do I want to rotate this forward? Like, how big of an enemy is this going to be? At the moment, it's 1 unit tall, so it's half as tall as PJ is. But if I make it larger, I might want to, like, have the tongue tilted down a little bit, or I might want to rotate the rig, you know, a little bit this way, so it's more of a straight on sort of thing. And at which point, you know, I might leave the tongue vertical at 0 and just have it more of like a straight out hit, which is probably a better pose, you know, regardless. And just thinking about rotating the rig or not at the moment. So if I don't rotate the rig, but I instead rotate the root, you know, it's not entirely the same thing, but that's fine. I'll just use the rig and just hope that this doesn't screw things up. If it does, I'll fix it. It's fine. So something like 15, and I'm going to go take this and cut it. So I'll take this one, then copy, go to something like frame 4, paste, insert, and now I have what would be the punch animation. Well, the punch pose, which blended with the other animations will, you know, look better. Okay, and I'm on closed. How do I keep doing this? Idle. How do I keep doing this? Oh, you know what? I think part of it is in here. The rig. Okay, I'm on punch now. Closed. Maybe the rig is yeah, okay. I think what's going on is that the channels here have not been added to the actor. So I'll add channels so that now if I go to punch, I'm going to set this back to 0, and these got crossed. I'm going to set this to, what was it, 15? It's negative 15. And then set this again, negative 15. And let's hope that, it's still doing it. Alright. Sorry, I know this is getting irritating. I've screwed up something, obviously, so just going to remove that. I'm just going to completely get rid of it. I'm going to completely get rid of all animation. This is pretty irritating. But I think it had to do with me going in and adding the extra channels. I clearly broke it. Actor, create a new actor, giant clam from selected items. And it seemed like even just duplicating an action was causing problems. Anyway, let's go to 0. Thankfully, these are not difficult animations. Really, here it's just negative 33 on the tongue scale. Negative 33. 1.91 on this. 1.91. Closed. going to duplicate you because I should be able to duplicate you. Idle. 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 Alright, so here's what's weird. I see keys on the timeline. Like, this is a key on the timeline, even though I'm in idle, which is not closed, it's idle, yet there's still a key on the timeline. And now I'm starting to wonder if I've just completely screwed up. Poses idle, closed, none, correct, closed. Okay, so even in here, that's so weird. This window is not showing. So maybe I'm just going to hide that. Idle, closed, idle. So the tongue in idle, why does it do that? 1.91. Closed. Okay. Idle. That's good. Go here. Do rig Z at 15. 8. And we're going to keyframe all that. 12. Keyframe. 16. Keyframe. So 15, 0. Might as well go set this one to 0. And set this one to -15. And that looks right. Now, closed. We're good. Take closed. Duplicate you. Rename. Punch. Change this to punch. Let's see. Shell top was 40. The rig Z, I believe. Was it rig Z? No, it was not rig Z. Rig X was what, -15. Then the tongue tip scale would be 10. The tongue scale was 10, and the twist 10. And now I'm going to cut those keyframes, make sure these are set, go to 4, set them again, everything's good, we're on punch, we're on closed, that's all good, we're on idle, and idle's all good. So yeah, something was just broken from me. I didn't add the channels into the actor appropriately, some is what happened. So anyway, let's see, punch is done. Lick spin Y. Let's do lick spin Y. So go, let's see, punch. Might as well just take something like punch and duplicate that one. Lick spin on Y. I'm going to remove this frame, and we'll just start off over here at the center. And I don't want the rig rotated. I don't want the tongue rotated either. Let's see, I might want also the shell top to be more something like 20. And so we'll have everything keyframed here. And so 4 will be like a 90-degree turn, a 180, 270, whoops, 14, 4, 8, 12, 16. So at 16, I'm going to go ahead and keyframe this, and then I'm going to do the rig. I'll just do root on this one at 360. Well, let me go here and do, yeah, so we're getting the weird blending in there now. 90, 180, 270. And what if I hit 0? Yep, that's what I figured. 360. Alright, so if I play that, it's kind of jittery because of, once again, the default not being linear. If I now go in here and play it, you see it's a lot smoother now. But I don't have to, I don't have to leave it at just like, oh, it's spinning, yay. I can do different things like, say, at 4, I'll bring the shell top down, maybe even a little more, and then bring it, you're gonna do that to me? You're gonna do that to me. Alright, 20, 10, fine. That's because I guess I didn't keyframe it there. 20, 10, and 20. So now if I play, you see it's kind of bouncing. It's got its mouth kind of bouncing up and down. It gives it a little bit more life than the tongue just, it just being all rigid and not having any life. So related to that, when it comes down, I can also change the lick vertical. Like I could try changing this to a negative value. Same thing. You're going to do that to me. 1.91. I'm on punch. Oh my god. How did I do it this time? Really? This is disappointing. Oh my god. And it's doing it again. Is it? Let's see. Facing Z, left. So lick spin, punch is set up as a lick spin. Okay. I don't know if I'm just too tired or if or what's going on. Idle is working. Lick spin. Punch. Alright, we're all good now. Let's go back to lick spin. So I have the spin. Now then. 10. 20. 10. 20. Right? Yep. Alright, and at the same time, I am just gonna go hit keys on all this stuff. Down, make this negative. make that negative. Alright, now hit play. Cool. So it's got a little bit of a wiggle in it. Alright, I'm just gonna save that and call that done. Punch is still fine, idle. Let's see. Let's see, what else do I have? Nash. I can do Nash. I'll go from a closed on that one, rename Nash. Go to Nash. And let's see. I can just create, pretty much just create keyframes at all of these, just to make sure that everything's keyframed. Before I go further, I want to go check on lick spin. I want to make sure that, yeah, all this stuff is linear. Oop, not broken, linear. Lick spin, punch, idle, Nash. Alright, over to Nash. So in order to do this, we need to pretty much just open and close the mouth. So, I don't know, 12? 12, that's already going to be at 0. And so then I can just go set this to 12. And I play it, it's going to be doing that. Once again, I don't want the curves, I want it to be linear. It gives me a better motion. Might be too slow. I'm wondering if the other jaw, if basically the bottom jaw needs to move too. Probably would be good to get the shell bottom moving. Even if it is only just like a little bit. 4, 0, 4. Make sure that all those are linear. Hit play. Yeah, that's better. And I might as well get the tongue moving, because you get to see it. So there where it opens, I'm going to move it to negative. Same thing here. Move it to negative. We'll play this. You can see the tongue moving in there a little bit. Save. Definitely on Nash. Alright, so Nash is done. So a hop walk. Let's see. Root. I guess to make this thing walk, let's go start with closed. Duplicate this, rename to, I guess, walk. Alright, and I'm going to need keyframes at all the usual suspects. And actually, let's go back to Nash real quick. Because really, what I would want to do with a hop walk is pretty much that. Just have it go up in the air. So I can really delete this, go with Nash, duplicate that, and call this walk. And then the only change I need to do is something that I don't have a channel for set up. So instead, I'm just going to grab the root and give it position keyframes. And here I'm going to move it up. Let's see, where am I moving? I'll just add. Oh, I guess that wasn't enough. Let's see. That should be okay. I don't need a lot. Go copy and paste it there. So I should have that kind of a motion going on now. And that will also allow me then to open this up a little farther. Maybe even as the same. Put that at like 12. Let's see. Because it starts closing that gap on the ground. I'm thinking I just probably want to keep that back at 4 because I don't want to close the gap. I want there to be a gap visible at the bottom. Something like that. And then these should all be that way. The root should be straight like that too. And then there we go. Okay. So let's see, the hop walk is done. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got at least 4 other animations to do, but given how the night's gone, I think I'm going to quit here. It's about 8 minutes early. I want to look into the issue with the root and not having a basically the position transform on Y. Want to see if I can add that in there without breaking stuff like I did last time. So I don't want to, put anyone through that again on camera. Thanks for watching and have a good night.